You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
You're now listening to the Sports Comas Pelican postgame report on the PRO Media Network. This is December the 12th, 2017, podcast 121, that's right. And this podcast will be covering recapping Pelicans 115-108 win over the Milwaukee Bucks, a quality win over a quality opponent in the Smoothie King Center as they rebound from a very, very exciting game against the Houston Rockets, which kind of fell apart in the end. So we'd like to start the podcast by giving you a round of applause for joining us. And as always, thank you. We also like to remind you that this podcast is brought to you by the lovely folks at theposhlifestyle.com. That's right. The Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a YLYFE style.com. Those lovely folks, they sell organic supplements, not GMO or any other filler, but actual organic supplements of all varieties. Also, they sell water filters as well. They also sell all kind of stuff. They have music, bedding, kitchen supplies, all kind of stuff. It's just so much it kind of blanks me. But it's they also, another great thing is about the Posh Lifestyle. They have a great line of health beauty products as well, all organic, pure makeup for the women. They also have Brazilian hair tint, A grade, all kind of wonderful and beautiful products. Fluoride toothpaste with no fluoride. Picture that. All kind of great and lovely products. Just go there and check them out at theposhlifestyle.com. Remember, life is spelled LYFE. And with the Sports Coma, you can put that in the coupon section when you get ready to check out and get a 10% discount off on your purchase. So go to theposhlifestyle.com and get your mind and body right with theposhlifestyle.com. So with that said, let's go right on into our podcast. The Pelicans were able to get it done today, 115-108 over the Milwaukee Bucks. In today's show, we'll break that down with stats, facts, and breakdown and interviews. Also from head coach Gentry, he'll chime in. Anthony Davis will also chime in. We'll give you the Pelicans updated injury report. Of course, got a couple of guys back that didn't play in the Houston game. Jameer Nelson, a few guys. We'll break that down as well and tell you who did what and why and how. And also we'll preview later in the show the Denver Nuggets matchup as the Pelicans travel to Denver to take on the Denver Nuggets on Friday night. We'll preview that with stats, facts, and breakdown and give you predictions on that game. So let's get right into the show. Excellent game for the Pelicans. They started out kind of slow, but eventually they were able to pull it together, kind of lackadaisical. But I think the Pelicans had a good momentum to it. You know, they didn't get too low, but they kind of kept that energy edge that they carried over from the Houston Rockets game. Really interesting. Is quite evident. If you look at the statistics in this game, 56.3 field goal percentage. These guys, the Pelicans shot 56% from the field. Once again, they were over 50% from downtown. They were 52% from downtown today against the Milwaukee Bucks, who shot 27%. Now, the Pelicans did turn the ball over again a ridiculous 21 times. It's just one of those things that's just like mind-blowing about the Pelicans, where they gave up 24 points off of 21 turnovers. And then, you know, a lot of people have to think for a second. They turn the ball over so much because they're one of the top assisting clubs in the NBA. They do move the ball. That's one thing Gentry is a guy that always speak about moving the ball, not having a stagnant offense, moving the ball. And they moved the ball splendidly this game. They had 35 assists in this contest, 35 of them. So 35 assists and 21 turnovers off those 35 assists. A few things, Demarcus Cousins, a bunch of bad throws he had, but ultimately it did not stop them from winning the game. How about that? 45 of 80, 56% the Pelicans shot, 13 of 25 from downtown for 52%. And get this, 12 of 15 from the free throw line for 80%. Just left 3 points on the court in terms of making 12 out of 15. They out-rebounded the Bucks. They outpassed the Bucks 35 to 23. They had more turnovers, 21, and allowed them to score 24 points off it. And also, they beat the Bucks in the paint, which they're supposed to do, 54 points to 50 points in the contest. So before we get into the rest of the statistics, let's hear what Coach L. Gentry has to say, because I know he's just kind of tickling himself right now with them getting a win over a quality opponent. Here go Gentry.
Congratulations. Big run to finish it, Coach. Was that it, or was there more to the story tonight?
No, I just think that's a really good basketball team down there. You know, they got great length, and they got shooting, and tough guys, good guard play. So, we knew it was going to be a tough battle. And I just thought we continuing to play. I thought our defense picked up really about the last 9 minutes of the game. I thought we defended them about as best we could. And then we got some bad bounces. A lot of times we had deflections or things where we could have come up with a steal or even a rebound, and just had a lot of bad bounces. And we just kept saying to the guys, we just got to keep playing. You
mentioned your defense coach. Antetokounmpo had 21 in the first half. Did you make an adjustment on him in the second half? What did you do better against him to hold him down a bit?
No, I thought we did a much better job of pulling in and taking away driving lanes. He likes to drive the ball and then spin. We took that away from him. And then I thought AD did a great job against him, getting into him, being a little more physical with him. Making him a jump shooting and we kept him out of the lane. So I thought that was big also.
Coach, you've been badgering your team about finishing better at home. Did they finish better at home tonight?
Well, of course we did. I thought we did a good job with the ball movement. Obviously Demarcus had some big plays. AD had a couple of big shots. I thought each one did I just thought as a team we did much better of moving the basketball, getting away from the isolation stuff. And because of that, I thought we got some easy baskets.
We had talked to you before the game about dribble penetration. How do you think you guys did as a team against that?
For the most part, I think we did okay. That team is really good at it. And you're talking about, Bledsoe, who's done it since he walked into the league. Giannis is just so long that he gets by you. But I thought for the most part we did a really good job of containing the dribble penetration as much as we possibly could. I think we're gonna give up some lobs, and every game, every team gives up some lobs. But for us, we try to take away the 3-point shooting. And once again, you had 6 guys on that team that shot over 38%, and I thought we did a good job of closing out and taking away the 3-point shots from them.
What does it say about your team to commit 21 turnovers and not let that sink you and kind of pull that together?
Yeah, I would also not. I don't want to try to win games with 21 turnovers, okay? I just thought we were a little careless with the ball early. I think we've given up over 21 points at halftime off our turnovers. And so it just puts so much pressure on your defense when you do that. And we just got to do a better job of taking care of the ball.
What have you guys done to have so many games where you're up around 55, 56% shooting from the field?
I just think we're very unselfish, and we move the basketball, and we've been able to get good shots. And like I said, I thought we were doing that early in the year, and we weren't making them. And I think now, everybody's kind of locked in, and we're starting to make those shots.
Boogie was able to take that late charge, even was in on that block on Giannis to be able to turn it into some offense on the other end of the three. Defensively, what did you just think of his effort?
I thought he had great effort. I mean, I was really, I guess perturbed is the word I would use rather than the other one. But, I thought he made a great play, and we got 3 guys on the other end of the court, and they still ended up, recovering the ball and getting an easy basket because we didn't trail the play. But I thought for the most part he did a good job. I thought he pressured up on the ball. Once again, you're going to give up some lob dunks. That team is really long, between, Thonmaker and Henson and, Giannis. And, they got a really, really long team, and they're going to get behind you. But I thought, for the most part, we stuck with the game plan and did a really good job.
What to say about this team to continue to bounce back from losses and continue to post wins, not allowing a streak to kind of take place?
Yeah, I'd like for us to put together, a streak of wins and stuff. But, we're playing hard and we're competing, and I think that's the main thing.
Alvin, you used Nelson down the stretch over Rondo, and he got a big steal there late. Was that the reason why you went with that lineup?
I went with that lineup because when I started to put Rondo back in, he said, we just on a little bit of a roll, and, let's go with him a few more minutes and see. And to me, that's when I think, we're becoming a good team and and turning into a good team, because guys are not so much worried about individual things. They're worried about the team. The other night, Demarcus did the same thing. He said they're rolling. Let's just see if we can get through or see what we can do with that same group out there. And so I think, when those kind of things happen, you know that those guys are all about the team and it's not about individual things. So I think that's good.
What do you think about Jameer, first game back after this with you with the ankle, playing as well as he did tonight?
Well, he's yelling at me for playing him 30 minutes, But I thought he played great, had a real steady game, did a real good job, and like you said, he came up with a big steal at the end.
That's Coach Alvin Gentry, head coach of the New Orleans Pelicans, filling you in on the ins and outs of tonight's big win. Now, I say big win because the Milwaukee Bucks are a quality franchise, a quality team, led by a good coach. Jason Kidd's a really good coach. He was a stellar ball player for many years in the NBA on the player level, just seamless transition into the coaching level. He has had some real good success in Milwaukee. Of course, he has the Greek Freak up there, and then the trade to get Bledsoe up there as well is helped filling his team out. They're a tough team, and no doubt about it. They came into the game, they were 15-10, 5 games above 500. And the Pelicans was kind of milling, my favorite word is a Midland team. They are pretty much a Midland team. They're able to put together a win here and then a couple of wins here and then lose 2 or 3, and they back to 500. They got to break the gravity of 500, no doubt about it. 500 got a strong gravity on this team, and they're going to have the willpower to kind of force themselves away from that 500 territory and kind of aim themselves toward that 5 to 6 to 7 ranges of wins above 500. And what I really liked about this game, and this is quite a few things to name about this game that I really liked, but the fact that Anthony Davis, who, coming into this game, he had that groin injury. I thought they would limit his minutes, but it didn't turn out that way. He played 36 minutes tonight, 10 of 16 shooting. Both him and Demarcus Cousins were 10 of 16. That's very unique. AD threw in 25 points. He had 10 rebounds and 4 block shots. He was very much active. Demarcus Cousins had 26 points. He was 10 of 16, like I said. He also had 13. He had 13 rebounds in the game, 9 turnovers in the game. So Demarcus Cousins almost double-digit turning the ball over. The great thing I really like about the fact that the Pelicans scoring is comfortably spaced. For instance, Anthony Davis scored 25. DeMarcus Cousins had 26. Drew Holiday, who struggled early in his game but came into the second half of the game and got together. He finished with 16 points and 8 assists on 6 of 14 shooting in 38 minutes. He had 16. So you had 25, 26, and 16. And then E'Twaun Moore, who has been stellar. I mean, E'Twaun, after struggling those 3 or 4 games ago, has really found his niche. He's stepped up and he's played above what I thought that he was his level of play. He scored 21 crucial points tonight. He was 8 of 11, 4 of 6. He scored 21 points off of 8 of 11 shooting. He was 4 of 6 from downtown. He had 5 rebounds and 4 assists. He's just playing on another level right now. 21 points for him, and then you had Cunningham with 8, Miller off the bench, his usual role. He scored 9, and then Jameer Nelson, who handled the rock, he had 7 assists and 5 points in the contest. Rajon Rondo had 5 points and didn't have much of a factor late in the game because of Jameer Nelson, like the coach said, let Jameer get in there and get it. Jameer played 30 minutes. Rondo only played 18 minutes. Plus, that kind of spelled him for the Denver matchup when they come back into it. But the really great part about this is the fact that the Pelicans didn't overexert Anthony Davis to get the win, didn't overexert Demarcus Cousins to get the win, didn't overexert Drew Holiday to get the win, didn't overexert any of its players to get the win. It was a nice combined effort from the team. Now, of course, they still have a lot of lapses on the defensive side of the ball. It didn't show, it didn't cost them tonight, but in future contests, it pretty will. But we'll come back and we'll finish discussing this game. We'll get into the injuries. We'll hear from Anthony Davis. And then we also have the preview of the Denver Nuggets matchup coming up Friday night in Denver. We'll talk about that and more on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Pelicans post-game report on the PRO Media Network. Stay with us.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans. Attention, everyone. Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is The Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out The Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Talking to you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. That's right, poshlifestyle.com. A great website where you can get great products at great prices. They sell organic herbs, vitamins, supplements, water filters for your home, EMF and cell phone radiation protection, healing magnetics and healing crystals, personal protection devices like cell phones, stun guns, and mace sprays, organic deodorants, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, and more. They also sell 10A grade Brazilian hair. 10A music is available now. All kind of the latest downloadable mixtapes. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to theposhlifestyle.com. That's the Posh Lifestyle, life spelled with a Y, LYFD style.com. Put in the Sports Coma for the 10% discount on your purchase. It's a win-win. So get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
You're listening to the Sports Coma, Pelican post-game show on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network. We're talking the Pelicans. Nice win over the Milwaukee Bucks. They were able to take them down 115 to 108. Quality win for the Pelicans at home. They rise one game over 500, 15 and 14. They're now 6 and 7 at home. 8 and 7 at home. And they'll have an opportunity to take on Denver next after beating the quality Milwaukee team. The Greek Freak played 42 minutes in this game. He was 13 of 24, had 32 points on the night. He leads I think he's second in one or two in the NBA in scoring. 32 points on the night for the Greek Freak. Very difficult to stop that guy, but the other guys didn't do enough to help him today. 14 points from Henson, who played center, 15 for Chris Middleton in his role. Eric Bledsoe, who's the starting point guard, and the other star of this team besides Jabbar Parker, who is out due to injury, had 14 points on 5 of 14 shooting. He got going early and then kind of tailed off. He was 5 of 14, struggled later on in it. And of course, Malcolm Brogdon off the bench, he had 11 points, and that's all the guys in double figures for the Bucks. Didn't do enough as the Pelicans were able to come into the second half of this game. Well, actually, they played really well throughout the entire game. They won every quarter except for the first quarter, which they lost by 5. They beat them in all the rest of the quarters and then closed them out with a 28 to 23 performance in the fourth quarter to ice the game at 115 to 108. That's a few stacks on the Milwaukee Bucks side of things. But before we talk any more about the Pelicans, let's any more stat-wise, let's hear what Anthony Davis had to say about tonight's game.
Team to finally control the game in the end with that last run.
We started getting stops. This team was making a lot of shots coming off pin downs, getting wide open, but that was our scheme. But we just started playing a little bit with a little bit more urgency, a little bit more energy and effort, and was able to come out with this win. It's a big win for us.
Absolutely, this is a quality team. What makes Giannis and the Bucks so dangerous?
He's able to get the ball and push up the floor. Put a lot of pressure on your defense. So I was just trying to sprint back and load to him, and my team was just helping me. Knowing he likes to drive either way and spin, I was playing for that. But we tried to live with him shooting jump shots. He made some, but we said if he beat us shooting jump shots, then we'll take it. So we ended up coming up with this win. Guys got stops at the end. It's a big win for us, like I said.
And a lot of other players stepping up offensively for the Pelicans. When Drew and each one play like they played tonight, how much energy does it give the team?
A lot of energy. Drew, each one, all those guys got in the fight tonight. They played some big-time minutes, made some big-time plays. We need this from these guys every night. I talked about this and shoot around. When those two guys play like this, we're a tough team to beat. Each one made some big plays. Jameer came big with that steal and some rebounds. So all our guards did a great job tonight.
You're just coming back from injury, and it looks several times like you had a grimace on your face, that it was kind of tough on you. Where are you in your recovery? How are you feeling right now?
I feel fine. Just a treatment on it and move on to the next game.
Should figure that would be the answer. Was there any doubt in your mind that you were going to play tonight?
No. I want to play, help this team out. It was tough for me to still in that Houston game. It was a great game for us. So I just want to come back on the floor and do as much as I can for these guys. And there's no doubt in my mind I was going to play tonight.
You were supposed to be on a 30-minute restriction, but a little bird told me that at halftime you told the coaches you weren't going to allow them to give you a minute restriction tonight.
Yeah, for sure. It's tough to play on minute restrictions, especially when the game going like this, a close game. You want to play. So I just took myself off minute restrictions. Said I'll worry about the rest of it tomorrow.
Well, congratulations. You definitely earned this one. Enjoy it.
Thanks, Jen.
SAD saying he took himself off minute restriction to play in the game. And I guess if you're Anthony Davis and L. Gentry, how you going to stop your team, the team stuff from playing? Anyway, he played 36 minutes, 6 minutes over the minute restriction, the 30-minute restriction. Lightly imposed on him. 25 points, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks. Anthony Davis was pivotal in this win as well. But like I was saying, that the closer conference of points, like Anthony Davis didn't have to score 38, Demarcus Cousins have 25, and nobody had to overexert themselves to get the win. 25 from AD, they can do that easily. Demarcus Cousins scored an easy 26 from him. Drew Holiday, even though he struggled, he still gave you 16. Etwine Moore helped cover the slack, adding 21 points. 9 points from Darius Miller, 8 points from Dante Cunningham to assist in the win, 115-108. Good team win for the Pelicans to beat a quality, and I keep saying quality because they have very few wins against teams that's above 500. This is a confidence builder to let them know that we can play with the best teams in the NBA, East or West. So they need to keep doing this, and hopefully they can build upon it this Friday going to Denver, who embarrassed them the last time they played, and who's had their number the last 3 or 4 games. But we'll preview that game in a little bit. Let's get into the injury report from the Pelicans. Of course, from the Pelicans Eye View, one of my favorite Pelican sites, among others, but clearly my favorite site, had an article pretty much today breaking down the injuries that the Pelicans have incurred over the last span of games that they've played. Jameer Nelson wasn't able to go against Houston. He was out. He had that issue dealing with his ankle. Dante Cunningham had a bulky knee that he had to sit down for. And, they had a few other guys, too, that was banged up that weren't able to play. But if you take Nelson out, you take Cunningham out with the knee, you shorthand the team. And, of course, Anthony Davis had the groin situation in the Houston game as well. So they were shorthanded and still played close, that Houston team. But those guys were able to make it back today. Cunningham was able to play 21 minutes, scoring 8 points and 4 rebounds on a night. He really helped the team as well. Jameer Nelson was a major part in this game. He played 30 minutes, scored 5 points. But even though he didn't score that many points, he was pivotal in the dishing of the ball. He had some really good defensive stances out there. He made some challenge plays on wide open shooters. He played a really, really good defensive game against the Milwaukee Bucks, long, lanky players. He was able to get around screens. Some of them, maybe one or two of them, he did a lazy man thing, didn't get around it. But when it got late and when it really counted, Jameer Nelson stepped up and held it down for them off the bench, putting in 30 minutes on the night. And big shout out to Rajon Rondo, too, for allowing the team recognizing the team had rhythm and not checking himself into the game to disrupt that rhythm, allowing Jameer Nelson to run the team, and ultimately the team was able to get the win against the Milwaukee Bucks. So big ups to them on that as well. Now let's go forward here. We're going to talk about the Denver Nuggets matchup. Of course, the New Orleans Pelicans face off coming up on the 15th against the 15th. Yes, so that'll be Saturday. So they take on the Denver Nuggets, and that will be an interesting game, obviously because of the fact that the Nuggets have been a team that the Pelicans have had a lot of problems with, to be quite honest with you. They really have, all into last year when they faced them twice, and it was crucial time for them to beat that team. They couldn't get it done, and I'm going to read give you some giblets from the Nuggets matchup. Now, of course, they're going to face off against this team. Now, in 4 of the opening round of the 09, I'm going back a ways here. In 09 NBA playoffs between Denver and New Orleans, the Nuggets pull out a 121-63 win, 58-point margin, matching the largest victory in NBA history. In the first matchup last season, Anthony Davis scored 50 points to go with 15 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals, 4 blocks. In the meeting that happened on the 15th of the last month, Denver set a Pelican opponent record with 146 points as well as 82 second-half points. Just destroyed the Pelicans. Just humiliated them in their own building. In their second game of the season, Demarcus Cousins became the first Nugget opponent in the history of the franchise to score 40 points, 22 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 blocks against them. In 2 games against Denver this season, Demarcus Cousins has averaged 27 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks a game. Drew Holiday has averaged 20 points on 56% shooting from the field, 6.5 assists and 2.5 rebounds. Etwan Moore has averaged 15 points on 57% shooting from the field, including 60% from three-point range, 2.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists. Rajon Rondo has averaged 12 points a game and 6.5 assists and 4.5 rebounds. And 1 game against the Nuggets this season, Anthony Davis registered 17 points on 63% shooting, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. In 2 games against New Orleans this season, Jamal Murray, the Pelican killer, has averaged 23 points a game on 62% shooting, 500% from the deep, 50% from deep, 4 assists, 1.5 rebounds, 1 steal. Gary Harris, the other Pelican killer, he 23 points a game as well. Emmanuel Muide put up 18 points against the Pelicans. So those big guards always seem to give them problems. Now, in 1 game, Nikola Jokic, the Joker, recorded 13 points, 11 rebounds on 6 assists. Now, Elvin Gentry is 16 and 18 all-time against the Nuggets. Coach Mike Malone of the Denver Nuggets is 7 and 8 against the Pelicans. Now, let's preview the game. Now, coming to this matchup against the Pelicans, against the Nuggets, Will Barton, who's a guy who scorched them the last time they played off the bench, he's day-to-day. Nikola Jokic probably won't play this game. He is out as it stands right now, according to the injury report. Now, when it gets close to the 15th, it might change. But for right now, Will Barton is day-to-day, which means he probably will play Saturday. And Nikola Jokic is definitely out. The Nuggets average 107 points a game and give up 106.8, almost 107 points a game. They're 46% shooters from the field. They average about 45 rebounds a game. They average about 23 assists a game, 4.5 blocks a game, 8 steals a game, and currently they lost one game recently. They lost to the actually in overtime they lost to Indiana, but tonight they were able to defeat the Detroit Pistons 103-84. They were able to handle them pretty good. So as it stands right now, the team is actually 6-4 the last 10 games. So 6-4 the last 10 games for the Denver Nuggets. Now looking at the New Orleans statistics, New Orleans is averaging 111 points a game and giving up 111 points a game, which tells you why they're a 500 club. I say this all the time. 49% from the field. They average 43 rebounds a game, 26 assists a game, 4.5 blocks a game, 7.5 steals a game, and they're 4-6 in the last 10 games. Now that I said all that lovely and beautiful stuff, the Pelicans, like I said, they sit entrenched in the middle of the Southwest Division because Houston is 21-4, the best record in the NBA. I mean, in the West, obviously, as well. Winners of 10 in a row. San Antonio is 19-9. They just lost one. New Orleans is 15-4, sitting entrenched there because the closest team to them, the Dallas Mavericks, are 8-20, and they are more than a few games behind New Orleans. Memphis, who continues to lose more and more, they're 8-20 as well. They've dropped all the way from the fourth to the bottom as Dallas is now tied with them. So the Pelicans are entrenched right there in the middle of the Southwest Division. Now looking at Denver, they plotted the Northwest. Minnesota Timberwolves is 16-12. They sit on top of the Northwest Division. Denver is one game back of them with 15-13. Portland is 14-13. And Oklahoma City, who won tonight, they're 13-14. They're starting to kind of gain their ground as well. Look out for them. And Utah, who's dropped 4 games in a row, are 13-15 in the cellar in the Northwest. Looking at the Pelicans, this here is going to be an interesting matchup for the Pelicans because they face this team. This is going to be the third time they faced this team this year. Of course, you remember the first time they played them, they were blown out 146-114. The Pelicans then get some revenge, beating them 123-114. Now, this is the third game of the 4-game series. And as the Pelicans line up in this matchup, it's going to be tough because they don't – when you go to Denver, which is what that 146 shellacking was, to play them, they don't lose. They are tough to beat in their hometown. They're 10-2, matter of fact, their home record is this season in Denver. Tough to beat them there. The Pelicans got their work cut out for them beating them in Denver. But if they can somehow retain some of the fire that they had from the Houston Rockets game that carried over to the Milwaukee game, then they can sustain and start to kind of piece wins together here because this is a very winnable game for the Pelicans. They could beat Denver because Denver will be without Jokic. But the problem with the Pelicans is that they suffer because they have difficulties guarding those guards, playing, in the transition defense. And Denver they are guard heavy, big guards, scoring guards, and they don't have a true point guard, but they have these two guards that kind of, I guess you can kind of emulate or kind of masquerade is a better word to be a point. Jamal Murray is fantastic. I mean, he's just that. Gary Harris is awesome, and even Will Barton. He's terrific. So, I mean, you have these, and I haven't even speak about Emmanuel Muide, who's another terrific guard who just seems to only have really solid games against the Pelicans. I mean, they're a terrific team. Now, of course, the Pelicans going to be coming into this game. They're going to be missing Tony Allen out. The report is he'll be gone for a few weeks now. He has that fracture in his leg. So he'll be out. They'll miss him. But that only just means that if they need guard help, they got Ian Clark they can go to. And as long as they can keep some of these guys healthy, Dante Cunningham, we'll see how he do. We'll see how Jameer Nelson did with extended minutes, he played 30-odd minutes in his game on that ankle. Hopefully he could hold up as well to keep the streak going. But the Pelicans have an opportunity, and a lot of people picking the Denver Nuggets to beat the Pelicans in this matchup. However, I will go in the opposite direction. I will say in this game, I think the Pelicans carried the momentum of the last two games. Even though they didn't win that Houston matchup, they still were able to play Houston with basically with 8 to 9 people. You know, they were very short, and despite that, and also without Anthony Davis, despite the fact they still played them very close down to the line until the superstars of Harden and Chris Paul closed the game out. And then in this game against Milwaukee, I actually thought that the Pelicans was going to lose this game to the Bucks because of obvious reasons. But they showed me that they were able to carry some of the fire over from the Houston Rockets game into this game, and I think they can be able to carry that over to Denver because they have to make that statement. They have to beat Denver, and I think they can beat Denver in the Pepsi Center in Denver to be able to start building on that, starting to build themselves up and start piecing wins together, like Coach Gentry said in his interview. And that's my predictions on the game as well. And if you take a look at what the Pelicans are, man, if you look at the schedule beyond that, and we'll take a little reach into that now that we got a little extra time here before the show and we're getting close. But if we take a look at what the Pelicans schedule is going down the stretch, the Pelicans, of course, it's not Saturday. It's actually Friday. The Friday matchup, I've been saying Saturday, I apologize. It's December the 15th. That's a Friday. They go to Denver, and they have a tough stretch of away games here. They got 4 away games that they're going to have to play. They go to Denver and play the Nuggets, then take a flight and go to Washington, D.C. to face John Wall, Bradley Beal, and the Washington Wizards. Then they go from Washington to Orlando to face off against a team that really kicked their butts early. The Magic just ran them out the gym. Then they go down to Miami and play the Miami Heat. That's for the first time. So Friday, December the 15th, then Tuesday, then December the 19th for Washington. A few days later, 3 days later, Friday on the 22nd, they got Orlando. And then that's a back-to-back of 2 Florida teams. They play the Magic on the 22nd and then the Heat on the 23rd before they come back home for a 3-game homestand. So they got a very difficult road schedule coming up, and let's hope that they can be able to pack some of that heat from these games to keep going and kind of build themselves above 500. So that'll do it for the show tonight. I'd like to thank y'all for joining us on the Pelican Post-Game Report. Continue to keep listening. Please share our show with your friends and family members and other Pelican and NBA fans. And visit our sponsors at www.pipelifestyle.com or go to our Patreon page, www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and donate. Or say what's up or share our stuff. It don't matter as long as you help out. Appreciate you for listening. Thanks and peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, world? This is DC from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Have you ever been sitting in front of your computer screen, or in traffic, tired, lacking energy, feeling drained? Did you know there are electromagnetic fields or EMF waves all around you that cause this disease? Get it? Dis-ease? Luckily here at Posh Lifestyle, you can get your EMF protection. They have pendants, the shell-dyed bricks, cubes, and pyramids. Check out the PoshLifestyle.com. That's life spelled with a Y. PoshLifestyle.com for all your health needs. So get your mind and body right with a Posh Lifestyle.
Clear, clean, great-tasting filtered water. We're all thirsty for it. But in the U.S. alone, an estimated 2.5 million plastic bottles are added to the environment each year in search of the perfect drink of water. There has to be a better solution, and there is. Crystal Quest, a leader in the manufacturing of water filtration technology, has been providing clean, drinkable water for 20 years. With a deep commitment to providing the highest quality products and excellent customer service, Crystal Quest has been recognized by such leaders as Consumers Digest, Dr. Oz, and Colin Ingram's The Water Drinking Book. Providing cost-effective, reliable water filtration systems for residential, commercial, and industrial customers worldwide, offering our customers the cleanest and most environmental-friendly drinking water at a rating of high purity. With Crystal Quest's water filtration technology, you can rest assured that your water will be crystal clear. Contact our network of authorized distributors and join our thousands of satisfied customers.
Just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.